I do always enjoy a good old banjo and or kazooie even. Also, Pig might be away right now, Greg. But he may or may not be back later. He is so old. Gasp, a bunny. That is me. I am something like I look something like a bunny on occasion when I feel like it. A, a comparable kind of aesthetic. Can I tell you a secret then? You can tell me a secret, Greg. I have no problem keeping your secrets. What's going on? Also, I'm literally about to just restart Spiral Mountain because I like the song a lot. Uh-oh. That's fine. I'm gonna leave it like that. I probably did it on purpose. And even if I did it, I don't feel like fixing it. The secret is I don't feel like doing anything. How are we doing? All good? Okay, put that there, put that there. Ripperoni. Greg, I think he was gonna tell you that my title was spelt wrong. I don't know why he was gonna tell you that. It's my title. It's my title. But anyway, was the first couple minutes of this stream just audio nonsense because I don't think my microphone was actually plugged in, or did it only recently get unplugged? I don't know. Who knows? It won't be the longest time my stream has spent in audio hell. So, but regardless, I'm gonna get to working on cartoons because I like cartoons. I like making cartoons. What I was thinking of. I want to make them so people giggle at them. One day. We gotta get them done first. I have actually, because you might be like, hey Kale, this looks familiar. Did you do this one before? I have worked on this specific, what was I thinking of? Specific frame before, but here's the thing. I got like an entire other scene done since working on this, so that's good. Little progress as treat. So always nice. Hopefully we'll get even further tonight, though. Oh no. I debate when would be a good time to bring more people in on my cartoons, and in what manner should I do so? Because even if we put money aside, even if we don't put money as like a determining factor, there still is the issue of communicating very like hyper specific things about these cartoons to trying to people who would be helping out making them. Like for Petting Oswald, probably not. I mean, Oswald can come along if I ever have some kind of in-person meeting with people helping me make cartoons, but that definitely wouldn't be the immediate go-to, you know, go-to deal if I start to try and recruit people. But I hope everyone's had a good day. My day was but you know, here doing art now, listening to some Grant Twerk Pope, and just thinking about good animation. So, can I complain that much? Not really. Everything's kind of okay in my life. Just, you know, certain things that can get me down. You know what would help me not feel down is hydrating a bit, getting a fresh glass of water. Dang, that is some cold agua, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It is kind of fun getting to do cartoons in the 1920s style, just because you know, animation was not quite as refined in art back then, so it's kind of a rediscovery of certain things. Like, sure, I might look up advice on how to animate certain subjects, but on the other hand, maybe I just try and take my own go at it, and I'm happy enough with the result that I'm able to just kind of be like, that works. Reference isn't only for nerds, but doesn't mean I'm gonna use it. I'm a nerd, so it doesn't matter if I use reference either way. There's no saving me. Also, I'm gonna adjust some things. You don't mind if I do some behind baseball? Here's the thing. I feel like I should ask about the person I asked to do music about that. But the cartoon's not near done yet, so it kind of doesn't matter. I'm just curious. It would be more out of curiosity than business. I do love my boys. I have plans for them. Kind of somewhat related to a very recent One Piece. Brooke? No, not Brooke. I'm tired. I am like, can I be? I'll finish my thought, but then I'm gonna continue. Uh, Related to a kind of recent One Piece update. Uh, but even beyond that, I like it when these two boys here make me smile. I'm gonna try and convey that to the masses. Anyway. I'm a little people tired, if I'm being honest. Sometime sometime what was the thing, you have enough kind of just like, I don't want to say negative as in like they were bad, but you leave enough interactions in a day with negative feelings that you decide, you know what, maybe I should just put the whole interacting thing aside for a bit, but you don't get a chance to do that. So, and I could be like tomorrow, but I have work tomorrow, so. Nice, Greg. Nice. But regardless, it'll be fine. I'll get some sleep tonight. I was trying, because I want to rein in my sleep schedule a bit to get the sleep I need and what is healthy. In for overtime Thursday night? No. I'm going to give you a no on that, Greg. What was I thinking of? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Greg. It'd be wild if I said yes, and then you showed up to your real job in the meat space for overtime, so that's why I, Dylan Cahill, am giving you a no on that one. But anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of hoping work tomorrow is a little slower. Oh, I was talking about my sleep schedule. Yeah, I'm just going to try and rein that in more. I would like enough sleep to be healthy and feel good, but I need it to be a little like, a little less time consuming. That's a weird way to talk about sleep, and I don't like talking about sleep that way. But honestly, I don't even think the time I fall asleep is a problem. It's more the time I wake up. I think I could legitimately kind of edit that a bit, and it would be for the better. But I'm not really gonna worry about that too much tomorrow, because I have less to do tomorrow before work. I'm just gonna be packing for my dog watching trip, my dog sitting excursion, and then headed into work. So that's like usually when, because the thing is, whenever I have, for example, do art before work, that's a theoretically endless amount of task I'm giving myself uh, to do. When I stop doing art before work, it is not because there's no more art to do. It's because I've decided to cut it off there. And so, hello, Juice. Many a boatman. I know, but I would argue that these two are all. I know you were referring to me, Juice, but I would argue that these two are also considered boatmen. So that would make at least three present. Those would probably be useless, Greg. I'm going to be real with you. Yeah, that one's definitely useless. Only power it would give you is less nutritional value. Negative nutritional value to opponents. I'm actually gonna... Oh, wait, no. That's the wrong knob. That's the wrong number. That's actually... I don't know why, but the music sounded very loud to me. I don't think it sounds that way to most of stream. So I just turned it down for myself. What? No, it seemed fine to me. Drew said it was loud. I'll turn it down. That's far too low. Let's put it at this. There. There, that's a good number to put it at. That'll be fine. Listen, blame the Kirkhope. I didn't mix this album. I am not DJ Jazzy Jeff. I don't know where DJ Jazzy Jeff is from. I feel like that's a specific pop culture reference. I just like saying the words DJ Jazzy Jeff. So, And I'm not going to let my ignorance of what that is related to stop me from saying fun words. Because I know what all those words mean individually. So I figure it's fine. He's from Bel Air. Oh. Juice, I suspected that, but I didn't want to take a guess. So I just kind of, I just kind of, I didn't know for certain, so I wasn't going to bother. Oh, you meant actually? I mean, I mean, yes, I actually didn't know where DJ Jazzy Jeff is from. All over the DMV nowadays. Is he a real person? Is DJ Jazzy Jeff real? Terrifying. My therapist told me DJ Jazzy Jeff wasn't real and couldn't hurt me. But my therapist was clearly lying about one of those things. So who knows if she's lying about the others? I'm gonna take this up with her. Lord, I gave myself a work flashback with kind of the subject there. So I'm moving on to other things. I was looking at what it would take to build a boat today. Cause honestly, if I could, if for roughly the same amount of money of a used boat, I could make myself my own seafaring vessel, I would like to do that. Especially because then I would get to customize it. I figured mine would be inspired by the Going Merry, just because, uh, as far as fictional boats I like, the Going Merry is like one I could see being able to be crewed by a singular person. Especially if I build it a little smaller than it is in your good old One Pieces. But regardless, I got another text. Oh my goodness, Here's the thing. I talked about that dog sitting. I was like, I was looking forward to that because I thought it was the 14th. It was that I was gonna start doing that on the 14th, and I'd be like, I get to be alone with dog, but no, it's tomorrow, so no alone time with dog yet. Eventually, though. See, this is why I need to build my own pirate ship. If I know, but someone will be here to watch Bunwee, Greg. No one will be with dog to watch dog. So I must go. Only I can do it. But yeah. Having my own boat would mean I could have alone time whenever I felt like it. And now you might say, Cahill, you could get that if you had your own living space. And I say yes. But boats are better from typical living spaces for reasons beyond isolation. Do you think if I offered to help people cross the ocean in my boat, they would take me up on that deal? Do you think those people might be criminals? These are questions I was thinking about as I was pondering what it would be like if I was able to build my own boat. But they would be Juice, I do not consider refugees criminals. And you're like, well, okay, but technically, and then be like, you listen to me. There's the spirit, and then there's the letter, and I'm using the spirit here. And if you and I have no patience for, I have zero patience for the letter tonight. So, it said criminals. Okay. I thought you were just like, yes, they would be criminals, but not like the I'm escaping murdering. I'm escaping for the murder. Well, I would feel bad because I would want to charge people money for using my boat. But I'm not gonna charge refugees money for using my boat. I'm just gonna make sure they have a good time on my boat. You know, like I might not offer a full cruise service, but I would just want them to have fun on the boat. Hopefully at this time, maybe my art is doing enough for me that I don't have to worry about making income from elsewhere. Would there be Bun petting? There might be, Greg. If I have entire Bun available on boat, then I might be like, hey, you can pet the Bun if it helps. Just be careful. Bun is in the captain's cabin, because, you know, is captain. Captain's cabin is reserved for most important person upon boat, and the Bun does in fact fit that description. So I will admit, because like I did rough Googling about this today. Because I was having one of those boat hyperfixation episodes. And while it gave me the rough estimate of what it's like to build a boat that's like seaworthy, because the website I was looking at even broke it down in like terms of just like a boat to go out on like the lake in. I mean, they have the specific terms for these, but you know, I'm saying like just like a dinghy, a boat to go out just to like fish in versus like one that can cross the ocean. And they broke that down very roughly for you. But the first specific item I did look for was how much for brass cannons. For real actual cannons. Caravel, exactly. That's not that it wasn't using that because that's a model of boat, not necessarily a type of boat. But the Going Merry is a Caravel, so that would probably be what we're looking at. Furthermore, you might be like, now, Cahill, why would you need cannons? And I would say, why wouldn't I need cannons? I say, if I'm going to the trouble of making my own pirate ship, both to save some very little amount of money, not nearly amount of money worth, you know, not nearly as much money as the work ends up being worth, but still, a small sum of money, and to customize this boat, then why would I not? Exactly, for playing the 1812 Overture, and also just like, you know, one of my favorite things about, you know, old sailing ships is the mechanisms of the cannons used for defense. The hatches for the cannon ports, the cannons themselves, etc., etc. And here's the thing: I probably wouldn't put a chaser gun on my own pirate ship. I would probably just put the broadside cannons on. And the Mary only has 2 side cannons, so I'd probably be at least modeling it off after that. Hey, question. And this music just made me think of it. Can you play Camel by Camel on Twitch for multiple reasons? Is that allowed? Probably not, right? There's probably several reasons why you can't play a railgun, not a railgun. I remember seeing a video going over modern ship defenses, and a lot of ships typically, outside of personal firearms, use water cannons for defense, but even in that same video, they were talking about like, yeah, that's not actually enough to stop most people who want to illegally board your ship. Which would be, you know, your modern day pirates and whatnot. Here's the thing. I don't think if I build and pilot my own ship and live on it, I would be worrying about sailing into, more piratical pirates. But if I did, I feel like one errant explosion from an actual, you know, 3-pounder cannon on the side of the ship would be enough to tell them it's not worth it. Especially if the other competition is running with water guns. If I'm choosing to mess with someone and the options are explosion versus water pistol, I'm probably choosing water pistol. I'm just gonna give it to you straight here. I don't care if if explosion hits 1 in 10 times. I'm not taking that 1 in 10 chance. So, but also I even posted in a while I was personally going on this boat tirade. I posted a video in Discord of 2 modern day sailing ship replicas, which are not associated with each other. These are made and crewed by separate entities, as your typical boats are, but still, it's not like this is a company of boat makers giving you pirate ships. But they were having a show where they were just firing off their own cannons, because they also have those, and firing blanks at each other. And I want to be able to listen. I want to be able to do that. I would like it if when someone say, "Hey, what that boat do?" as I pull up in my own little pirate ship, I respond with explosion. That seems great for me. I'm gonna be real with you right now. I love the idea of that. So, but yeah, I don't know. I love the theatrics. I mean, I am, of course, thinking of Pirates of the Caribbean as I'm talking about this, but the theatrics of the hatch coming up, and then you see the gun roll out as they prepare to fire is very good. Love a pirate cannon. Also, what was I thinking of? Oh yeah, I feel like in my research on how to build a pirate ship, no matter how far that gets, I feel like I do some research on basically how to get the sturdiest keel or spine, for another word, under my ship. And that was a lesson they taught you in One Piece. Because we could ship of Theseus this, right? And be all like, if I replace all the boards, it's still the same boat. I would argue what the ship of Theseus doesn't consider is that if you have to replace the spine of a ship, then you're taking apart most of the ship. And One Piece goes to the point of pointing out, like, I'm gonna get the key. Yes, exactly. Greg, that is the lesson we should take from this. But I think the thought project of the ship of Theseus doesn't take into account that when they replace the spine, they have to take the ship so totally apart that at that point, I do think you could be like, yeah, I don't know if this is the ship of Theseus anymore. We just destroyed this thing. So, given our modern day technologies and abilities. I'd be like, hey, what's a material I can use on this that would both be as sturdy as possible and not degrade? Frankie does have nipple lights. One Piece answered that by making up a magical tree that you can get wood from to make the spine of your ship out of, along with most of your ship out of. But I don't think I'm going to find a magical tree myself, actually. So, with that in mind, in bar of that, I would just probably do research on what materials I could make the base out of to work out from. Because again, going off Ship of Theseus, nothing wrong having to replace and patch up some parts of your boat. But I would argue you want that good base there to make sure that it is all together good. Especially if you attach the figurehead to the key to the base, you know, have that full U shape going, and at the very front got the figurehead secured. Then you've answered your Theseus problem. You're like that. There's the soul of the ship right there. It's actually pretty funny. You can go look up, because, you know, a lot of much older shipwrecks being made out of wood do not hold up very well. You know, not as much to see as your iron shipwrecks, iron or fiberglass shipwrecks. But there is one in the Arctic that has held up since like the 1800s, because how the specific conditions of the Arctic Ocean have preserved it. Can I lick it? I mean, you can go try, Greg. I'm not gonna say the results will be good, but if you're determined, I won't stop you. But yeah, I think that's kind of the mode I'm operating under, is building the ship around a keel that could both withstand, you know, the natural erosion of the ocean, because humans, if anything, have a wealth, an embarrassment of riches of things that can not be degraded by the environment, but also be sturdy and functional enough that I can, you know, use it for the ship. I love how I'm talking about this, and I feel like the earliest I could get this done would be in my 40s. Here's the thing, though. I've talked before about how, like, I want my own theme park, and I was like, would this get in the way of that? Walt Disney had an entire train, had an entire, like, rideable model train that him and his family could play with before building Disneyland. So with that in mind, I think me getting my own ship would honestly, if anything, be in line with that, more so than be a hindrance. So we'll see. Maybe if I make my first successful film and my own personal paycheck from that is good enough that I'm like, I could get a boat, then I'll get a boat with it. But that would both, you know, count on the idea of me getting to make a film and it doing well. And so far, I'm still making this one dang cartoon. So I was like, if I made a movie out of my two boys here, what would it be about? And I got an idea. I'm not going to share it right now, but it's an idea. I do feel like one thing, because I want there to be a progression of some sorts in these cartoons, Not one that you really have to be paying attention to enjoy later cartoons, but you know, just some kind of progression. Uh, then they would have a devil fruit rig. Uh, but some kind of progression that people paying attention to can like. And I think any problem with making a film out of these guys wouldn't even necessarily be that they are, at the moment, silent film protagonists, but rather that I would need to convey stuff from the series over to film seamlessly. You know, when we were doing the Dokapon stream, Pig was just like, well, not everyone. Not every piece of media should be made so that everyone enjoys it. But I will admit that I find myself wanting as many people as possible to like these guys. Because at the end of the day, I think that's better. I think I think what they offer is better if as many people are enjoying it as possible, as opposed to being some kind of niche thing that only certain people can get value out of. But that's me. Oh, the last like 10 seconds of this track is silent. Even the criminals, I mean, I guess. Wild thing to ask, but you know, if their crime is jaywalking, then I'm not gonna be like, don't enjoy my cartoons. Hey, if it stops them doing crime. Then again, I'm making pirate cartoons, so at that point. Dude, food for thought. Hey, can I say something? I was thinking about this the other day. Um, I have lived mostly with ladies for my life. Uh, my immediate family is my mom and my sister, and the I have on occasion used disposable razors they bought, and honestly, I think those are like my preferred razors to use. I do, Greg. Uh, but I was thinking about this the other day in the store because I don't want to. There are good razors, but I don't want to be spending like a fortune on replacing the blades and shit. So I was like, let me get those disposable razors that they have, but like they're pink and everything, and I was like, there could not be a stupider. Could not be a stupider thing to brand by gender than shaving razors. Hello, Val. Val, I'm talking about shaving real quick. I was gonna say I'm talking about razors, but but to be specific, shaving. Because I don't know. I don't remember like what a man's shaving razor ad would be like. But I know like ladies are typically like, do you want smooth skin, good skin after you shave? Then use blah 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 blah. Fucking why would the opposite for men be like, do you want bad, rugged? I mean, like, rugged is usually used as a handsome term, as a good looking term, but like sandpapery skin. Do you want cratery, messed up skin from our dumb razor brand Close Shave? Like, why would you separate that by gender? Rock and roll. It's so dumb. I know a lot of people over the past, 2 decades or so have really started dissecting things that are separated by gender. But the idea that that shaving razors would be one of them could not be stupider. Because it's not like they're doing different things. Ideally, the razor that I'm using to shave and any lady or person of other gender is using to shave is doing the same thing, getting rid of hair. I can get it if it's for specifically trimming a beard or something, maybe. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Val, is I was thinking about this, I was like replacing my razors, yada yada yada. And I'm just like, I just need the disposable ones my mom and sister have used. Because, again, if Lord in heaven, like, they just work the best. And I don't want to talk to anyone who'd be like, you're using a woman's razor? What does that mean? Yeah, and I'm going to shoot you with my woman's gun. While it does the same exact thing, huh? It's almost like that they are supposed to. It's almost like these are supposed to do roughly the same thing. And separating them by gender would be the stupidest possible move. Wild to think about that. The plastic is big. Oh no. See, that's what I'm talking about, Val, because that's what I thought of. They are pink razors. And I was just like, oh, ladies' razors? But, like, why would you want it to do different things? That doesn't make sense. Very dumb. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, arguably, I want the ladies ones because I think the what was the thing, because I think the blades are better. I think the blades are better, and I'm just like, I would prefer to give this shaving brand my business than the one I'm trying to use. They're cheaper and they are more effective than what I'm using, thus making them better in every respect than the ones I typically use to shave my face. Again, it's wild. Your bunny body is covered in hair. Yeah, Greg, but you see how, like, you can see my mouth moving? I do grow a bun wee beard. And what was I thinking of? And I don't like my bun wee. I don't like a bun wee beard. I like a clean shaven face, so I need a good razor for that. At the least. Maybe I want to shave a cool pattern into my back at some point. No one knows. Just the face. Just the face. Unless I decide to shave a cool pattern into my back. You'll never know. Okay. Time to continue on with my animation work. I love how it looks like we've done nothing since stream has started. But this does matter. See, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like if I bring someone on board to help me with these animations, I have to stress, like, okay, if you're going to have a still image, if the scene calls for a still image, I need you to draw those frames by hand twice. I cannot, under like 9 out of 10 times, it's like, okay, we'll leave it. It doesn't matter too much here. 9 out of 10 times, though, I need you to redraw this frame at least one more time. Because, you know. Because what it's emulating is back in the day where they would have to redraw so much of the same stuff over and over again, and thus get little human errors in there, which would give it a bit of life to it. And while you don't necessarily have to draw it that many times, as much as an old animation might require, what was I thinking of? I'm gonna put it here, and then bring it up here. Okay. You still have to draw it at least more than once, so that way it still gets the same kind of feeling, roughly. And I know it's a pain in the ass, but I'm not like, you know, art. Doing art. I'm not just like, you know, I don't just make the cartoons look like this to cash in on nostalgia. I'm not just doing this so that some people will be like, oh, that's a cool look for those cartoons. I have a genuine passion for very old animation. And as such, you know, I would like to emulate it as closely as possible to get the real charm of those films in here. And heck, if I have to do that alone, that's fine. But I wouldn't mind giving someone money to help me with it. And if they share my passions, then that's even better. A plus, if you will. So, you know, we're doing what we can out here. I do kind of want this to shatter like glass. And I believe what that means is I'm going to have the cracks go out a good ways. But at a certain point they're stopped and the word will just kind of explode into even tinier pieces. Because glass kind of does that, you know. I mean, heck, I don't know. Right now, I just use the monthly expenses I make on stream to help me live. You know, help me save up, move out into my own place soon-ish on a somewhat near timetable, yada yada yada. But I would love to raise money during streams for the cartoons. It's just that I'd have to like budget that. I'd have to find animators who are willing to reliably and often be commissioned to help me work on the cartoons. Know their rates. Be able to, in good conscience, come onto Twitch and be like, hey guys, here's how much it's gonna cost for the new cartoon. And then, like, you know, think of a reward, hopefully, on Twitch that would be worthy of people donating that much money. Because it's not going to be a small sum. If I want someone to, like, I'm looking at this thing being probably a little over 2 minutes, which isn't bad, but it's not really old-timey short length. But regardless, if I wanted someone to even do half a minute of animation work on this, especially with the type of work, like the specifics of work I'm trying to ask of them, it would be a lot of money. And I'm not just gonna sit that and y'all's laps, you know? So. Chipping in a little. It's one thing when I'm like, hey, guys, I'd like to justify to my loved ones that streaming is worth pursuing. And also, please, could you help me live? That's one thing, and I try to make the rewards worth it each time. But the amount a full animation team would cost. I would prefer it. Yeah, exactly. I would prefer if I just do that out of pocket at that point. Oh my gosh, he is so out of pocket for that. Tag your one out of pocket friend in this post. And it's a post of a bottle falling down the stairs. Ooh, jingling keys. Lord. I do need to kind of curate the time I spend on my phone a bit better. I won't lie. A little less time looking at random videos, a little more time doing literally anything else. That's what they never... Not enough people talk about that. Where it's like, I used to love to read. Then everyone in the world got pissed at me. I think, Val. Should I start selling pants? Cahill branded pants? Also, hi, Paula. Anyway, I used to love to read. And not only was, like, high school... Like, not only did high school give me the worst fucking books I've ever had the displeasure of looking at, but even more so, everyone in my life ever got pissed whenever I tried to use my spare time to read. Lord forbid I bring a book along on a trip, on a activity to kill the downtime with. You know. Heavens to Betsy, lest I get my schoolwork done fast and want to pick up a good book I'm interested in. No. So. And, like, I could read a bit more on my phone, but it just, like, I'm literally saying, the practice itself got kind of beaten out of me more than it was beaten into me. So. My mom always says she doesn't like liars. I do not like hypocrites. Lie to me all you want. That's between you and our Lord and Savior. But don't lie to me and then say how much you hate liars. You know what I'm saying? Belongs to ever... Yes. I mean, I was talking earlier before you got here, Val, about how, like, I think I've been a little too much people time, not enough Cahill time. Stream doesn't count as much for that because, y'all are a chat I can ignore. No, you're great, but still, I think you coming into stream is not nearly the same social contract as, you know, whatever the fuck it is when you walk up to someone in real life. What was I thinking of? Oh yeah, I don't like hypocrites. If you believe something, you better stand by it. You know. I mean, literally what I'm doing with animation right now. I like 20s animation, so I'm making 20s animation. Not like the most prime example, but it is an example. Putting my money where my mouth is. I feel like that's also why I don't like gossip. Like, yeah, I don't like drama. I say that sounds awful. I hate saying that. I hate even saying that, because I'm just saying. I don't like to find myself in any kind of friend group where there's a lot of talking about someone else while they're not there. Because at that point, I would just say it to them. And they called me and they called me antisocial for that. And I was like, "What are you?" I feel that very much, Val. I feel that 100%. And at some point, I just want to. I I think I need to get a little bit better. Eat drama for breakfast and lunch? No. Juice? No. Um, you can do what you want. I don't care. uh, but I need to get, because I think I tend to use my free time almost just trying to relax a little bit, so that way, because so much of my time around people is just doing stuff that maybe I don't want to do the most. 90% of my time around people is doing stuff that isn't my first choice to do. So with that in mind, when I get by myself, I'm just like, video games time. I'm not trying to. Here's the thing, I feel like we almost. I'm almost teeter. Say, also this song is such a bop. I'm almost teetering on being a hypocrite now because I'm not trying to ish talk these people like this either. I just I just enjoy doing things my own way. Again, look at how I'm animating right now. Uh, what was I thinking of? But yeah, I mean, it's probably because I feel like I've spent so much time around people recently, doing things like because if I had it my way, I would be done this. I would be done my first cartoon right now, and we'd be moving on to the next bit, to the next one. But I try to look inwards and see what I can improve on, which is why I'm saying it's like I need to stop thinking of every moment I'm alone as time to rest and relax, and try and put a little more into these projects, because they are rewarding and they don't necessarily drain me, but they don't let me relax either. I don't get tense from being around people and then do this and all of a sudden the tension is gone. I've more so redirected it a little. I've just, you know, put my focus elsewhere, but not necessarily recuperate it from whatever else I was doing. It's weird. Does it make sense, Val? Because I feel like I'm a crazy person. I mean, crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me full of room, a padded room, filled with rats, and rats make me crazy. Very minor degree, I would say. I don't even want to be that dramatic about it. And I know people are just like, it's not dramatic. Take care of yourself. And I agree. But it's not like me working on this and other art a bit more would be a detriment to my living situation. So, I'm not gonna act like it is. Also, for anyone out there, um, if you don't know what's happening, I'm switching it from this to this. I think this is a very good joke. I've had one or two jokes that I've been able to animate in the, like, 45 seconds that the cartoon is currently made up of. This is like a follow-up joke going back on the one this imagery is from. And I think this is a good follow-up. I don't know. I do wish, following up on what I was talking about getting more people in on working on these, I do kind of wish party animal sessions I was a part of, you can, Paula, though Greg might have already shared it in the Discord, but I'm happy to see it either way. And honestly, I can always pull it up on stream. No problems with that. But anyway, I'd love to be able to, like, I'd love free labor. No. But I would love it if I could find people equally passionate about this kind of stuff that'd be willing to help me make it. And then mayhaps we can share in the success. But I recognize how much of that can be hollow promises. So I'm not going to take anyone's work for granted. Oh, gotcha. You got it then, Paula. Then please do share. But yeah, I would just prefer... I would just like it if I could have help with this from people who also want to kind of make something similar with me. But even if they did have the same passion, I would argue that they deserve to get paid if I'm the one calling the shots. You know? If it's an execution of my vision, then they deserve to get paid, because even if they have a similar interest, they are bending whatever they were thinking of to help me. And that alone is worth, I would argue, even more than money. So, I'd have to pay them more than money. Also, I don't know if I can pull this up. Oh, I can. Let's see. I'm gonna turn off the music. I love that this is on X.com. No one calls it that. Oh, these animals are very good. Let's pull it up on stream. Yep. X. I love the choppy frame rate on stream. Rip. Paula can be ruthless is the thing. Paula can be your angel or your devil. And that's something oh no! Stream, don't look! Stream, no! It's you! Okay. Let's put the music back on. Ruthless. Fatality. Scorpion wins. If I get Mortal Kombat 1, would anyone want to watch me stream it? I have Mortal Kombat 2011 and Mortal Kombat 11 here with me right now, and I played through 2011. But man, I do like Mortal Kombat, and I wouldn't mind bringing that to stream. Maybe this would be like in the New Year's, so we would see if it's even worth streaming at that point. Meanwhile, I've laid out like a multi-month stream plan. The to a degree. I mean, same, Val, and I like Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is a bit slower paced, and I feel like it it's Mortal Kombat isn't necessarily like, you know, it's not like a baby's first fighting game, but I find it easier to understand and control than say your Street Fighters. I've learned to do some stuff in Dragon Ball Fighter Z, but I still think Mortal Kombat can be a bit more my speed. Fighter Z is incredibly fast paced, and if you're learning to do something, it's mostly to keep your own combo up, so that way you can't get caught in someone else's, and just stay caught in it. Well, then, here's the thing, Val. You shouldn't watch me play fighting games. But I'd still like to stream them and try and learn. Here's the thing, it's the vanilla choice. But I like Scorpion. Scorpion, very good. I like his story, I like his gameplay style. I unironically really love Get Over Here. I looked it up. So obviously systems change between Mortal Kombats and everything, but typically what will happen is a lot of the characters will keep certain signature moves that you can reliably call upon in any given Mortal Kombat, and Scorpions are reliably my favorite. Scorpion's two moves are Get Over Here with the spear hook, rope dart, and teleporting, where he disappears into a ball of fire and shows up behind you. And both of those are so fucking fun. Like, it's not even just like it's easy to win like this, it is I am having a blast doing these. Do you know how good it feels when you say get over here? And then they get over there? It's pretty neat. So I would love to get 11, but because I'm not 11, 1. I have played Mortal Kombat in my, like, when I've been able to. I had only recently gotten the copies I just talked about. Besides that, I played it, like, at an arcade or with friends. But I decided to give it a shot, and I did really like a lot of 11. 11 is kind of padded, It has an excessive amount of combat, and not 11. I keep saying 11. 2011. 11, a lot of people I've heard love. It's great, but 2011, which was just called Mortal Kombat, that started. That was a kind of padded. It had a lot of content to do, and on top of that, it was just kind of the rudimentary system that they've gone with since then. There's been 4 games counting 2011, which was that one, X, 11, and 1, which is a nightmare to say, but and each of those have only just kind of refined what that first mentioned entry did with its systems. And that's pretty cool. But I can only really get one if I get a PS5. I can only get one and stream it if I have a PS5. And maybe for Christmas if I'm lucky. But we will see about that. So, but hey, if I get one, I will be streaming games from it. Maybe some Miles Morales Spider-Man before some Spider-Man 2 and some Demon Souls would not be too shabby, I think. I just realized I made the wrong layer transparent. Spooderman. I mean, I'm not called Cahill Comics for nothing, you know? Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. I don't even care. See, I was like, Scorpion's kind of the vanilla choice. I don't care about Spider-Man. I don't care if people are just like, everyone loves Spider-Man. Yeah, for good reason. He's great. Maybe if you stop being such a fun cop, everyone would like you too. Oh! I would say I also like Batman. Because I do. I like a lot of Batman. I have a lot of Batman. Here's the problem, though. I don't want to say that. Not because it's a vanilla choice, but because, one, certain Batmans are not very good. Like when he's just beating up Superman and other superheroes for no reason. Yada yada yada. Zack Snyder. And also, because DC is all like, we should only make Batman. Like, no. There are other superheroes. Please do something with them. I'm begging you. I was thinking about this last night. I think about it often, honestly. Like, by default, I feel like the kind of superpowers I would like are stretchy powers. You know, Plastic Man, Monkey D. Luffy, Jake the Dog. But if I had to really think about what superpowers I would like if I were given them in the world today, I would pick Shazam. Like, no question, I think Shazam would be the most useful for me doing good. First off, the ability to solve international problems is no problem. Shazam speaks every language. That's the wisdom working for you. Yeah, that you also get to say the cool magic word. Get struck with a whole ass bolt of lightning. The transformation is also a major part of it. Because think about it, if you become a superhero, whether or not it even looks cool, you have to get a costume and like a disguise for to just to protect your identity and kind of do things somewhat anonymously, you know? To make sure you don't mix your civilian life in with your superheroing. Shazam immediately solves that problem. I mean, I saw the first one, Paula, and I'm not even talking about that. I wouldn't be like, I'm a big Shazam movie fan. I'm just like, I think the character itself is kind of cool. Most versions of Shazam, I can find myself liking. And given that DC is not always the most consistent, sometimes that's the best you can ask for. But yeah, you don't have to worry about a disguise really, because it comes with a full body transformation, which is always handy. And then on top of those like two specific abilities, you are then just kind of Superman. You know? So the only big drawback Shazam has is that if someone gets you to say magic word in the middle of a fight, then you're kind of screwed. But even then, you'd have to be a pretty bad Shazam if that was constantly an issue. You know? And in theory, there should not be many bad Shazams. That's the whole point of a wizard picking you. wizard picks you, is like, hey, are you chill? You say, hell yeah, I am. He gives you superpowers. If you're telling the truth. So answer for answer for superpowers for fun, or if I'm in a world where it's okay to have superpowers, it is stretchy. Answer for I Cahill pick some superpowers to solve world issues. Shazam. So we were very heavily talking about pirates in the first half of the stream, and now I'm on about Shazam. What? I was gonna say what? Because I have some comics next to me. A lot of my single issue comics are in storage because I don't have like shelf space in my current room to showcase them. And those ones are Batgirl. See, I like me some Bat. I like me some Bat Family, Silver Surfer, and Superman. Because I do like Superman. At the very least, I like researching Superman. You know. I do kind of. I need to really sit down and watch. I've only seen bits of it, but My Adventures with Superman, because making Superman a shonen is literally all anyone needed to do to put him in the modern age. It was never that hard, but I mean we've been dunking on DC for a minute now, so what are your feelings on Kazam? I have not seen it. Honestly, if it wasn't for Onsta, who is constantly referencing it, or has referenced it enough in the past, then I wouldn't know it exists. Onsta and the McElroy brothers. If they didn't reference that enough, I wouldn't know that there was a Genie movie about Shaq. I do like genies. Alex is in part based off the genie from Aladdin. So, you know. Good old, say, there he is. There's my boy. My boy! I do have plans for him, but I've been in the animating mood recently, and my plans for Alex are to sit down and pump out lots of art of him. So, with that in mind, if I both don't have that much time on hand and I'm in the animating mood, then it does me no good to kind of like, you know, sit and speculate about him. I spent like weeks writing down the entirety of the first like arc for Alex, the first story arc. That is for the most part settled. As an ongoing comic, the first story arc is as settled as it can be. So I'm not worrying about it too much right now. The next step is the production of it. And when I get to it, I kind of get to it, you know? I think I talked on stream about the idea of it being like, I make enough material to put it out for 6 months. And hopefully, 6 months mean I have bought myself enough time to make more material for the next 6 months. You know? Not just making a page a week. Being able to, like, make a batch of them. Really give the attention and love to where it is needed. And then be able to put it out into the public when I feel happy with it. So I mean, I'm trying to stay in the game at all, Val. I'm not complaining about this. Let me just say, yeah. Oh, there are 8 people here. That's pretty good. But I was gonna say, like, Twitch is the most success I've had online ever, and I am not like a big Twitch streamer, so engagement on other platforms 0. And I'm not like salty about it per se. I know talking about it can always be like, oh, you're not salty about it, but like, you know, like I'm just like it's fine. If I need to push something online at one point, I'll put my full force behind it and really try to make it blow up. And if it still doesn't, then maybe I can get a little salty. But in general, I'm not losing sleep over it. The fact I have found so much success on Twitch, to the degree I have, makes me happy enough. So I'm not gonna cry over not even pre-spilt milk. The milk isn't even spilt yet. That's a hard sentence to say. Yeah. Well, I think that's the silver lining, right, Val? I've never had something blow up online outside of kind of this. And this is by far one of the easiest things to make. You know, get on a microphone and a camera, either play a game or do some art for a while. So I don't have to worry about keeping up the content. I can take the time to kind of think about it and be like, okay, how can I improve? How can I make it so that people do actually pay attention? Very low stakes, honestly. Not much to lose, lots to gain. And I think that's fine. I would like to make a living. I don't necessarily need to be an internet celebrity to do that. If that happens because I made a living through Twitch, that would be fantastic. I love streaming, genuinely. It's so fun. I've seen a lot of people since I've started to be like, yeah, I don't really feel like keeping up with it anymore. And I have never felt like that. I have been forced to go on more breaks than I have ever felt like going on breaks from streaming. So, if at some point it gets even bigger, then I can only be ridiculously thankful for it. And that's also why I just make sure to be consistent with it. Because, again, found some success, and if it blows up, then I would want to be able to be like, hey, I'm doing the same thing all the time. Please, please come. Oh, Lord. No, don't let me say that. No. I forgot about homonyms. Damn it. I'll never get big on Twitch if I keep making mistakes like that. Saying kind of sexual things out of context. Foiled exactly. I mean, arguably that is how you get big online. But not in a good way. Hey, I know you. Aren't you the guy who accidentally keeps saying sexual things on twitch.tv? I don't like that you specified that, but yes. I am. Yeah. You know, sometimes I worry about, like, how often I get through games on stream. Like, man, do I have enough... Like, if I really want to, like, dig into to a certain kind of games on stream, is there enough of them left to even do it? Then I remember I have not played all Mega Mans. I have not played every Mega Man on stream. Honestly, I think by the time I could finish doing all Mega Men, after doing all Mario, I could just go back to doing Mario because it had been long enough, you know? Honestly, I see if you're able to, like, divorce yourself from, like, what was funny the first time you played it, I don't see problems with, like, replaying games for at least stream, you know? If you're doing, like, a highly edited playthrough akin to, like, your Game Grumps or Markipliers, that might be one thing. But even then, if you're able to just, like, if you're able to feel like I can just play this and talk over it and give new content, because, I mean, to be fair, the game is not what is original. I don't mean to get on a high horse here. But for the most part, unless it is a new topical game, people are hopefully coming back for what you're doing. And with that in mind, replaying a game is not too bad because of it. Honestly, I keep talking about how, like, there's some games I already want to replay in order to, like, just do them again. Because because I played them on stream because I was starting streaming and was like, I need something to play, might as well play games I love. But now I have a bit of a better setup at streaming. Some of them I played with a fucking headset mic. So yeah, I need to play them again for audio quality. One of them's Mario Galaxy for sure. I would like to 100% the Mario 3D collection, honestly. I think that would be great. You know? Maybe I get, like, for example, I was talking about getting, like, Mario All-Stars, whether for Wii or SNES. And I go through all that, and then I 100% Mario 3D All-Stars. That, like, think about how many streams that would be by themselves. And then remember that I'm already talking about streaming, like, four individual RPGs, which would probably be most of next year. All of this assuming that I keep doing streaming for fun and not, like, as a job, which again would mean I'm just doing it for like, at this point, indefinitely, as far as I can see it. So I can definitely get people, because, like, I talked about, like, people I know being like, yeah, I don't want to keep up with it, and I don't feel like that. But I can see when some content creators be like, I don't want to do it when I'm, like, 60. That I get. For sure. Like, I would hope at that point I would have made something a bit bigger than just my weekly Twitch streams. But regardless, if there's a cap to streaming in terms of age, for me, I don't think it would be, like, even 30. And that's, like, still near a decade away. So I think we'll be fine. It's weird I was talking about all that, but I don't know. I feel like there's plenty of people online who will talk about it and be like, I can't wait to obviously they do like it, but but they almost make it sound like, I can't wait till I never have to upload ever again. And I get it, because it's a job at that point, and it's kind of like, I'd like to go on a vacation and do things for fun. But for me, I'm more like, I do kind of always now and then have anxiety about when certain things will be over. And so long as I can help it, I will not be over streaming for quite a while. If I'm able to keep stream kind of like how it is right now, but only improve the quality at which it is broadcasted at, then I think I have some of my best years ahead of me and not behind me. which is good because the years behind me were kind of shit, if we're being honest. I think I started streaming when a lot of people started streaming, which is, of course, to say the pandemic. So, yeah, I'd hope better years ahead than behind. I will not get over. I don't know how ironic it is, but I see people talking about missing like 2016 to 2020. Like, not that specific time period, but any of the years between those. And I literally can't believe them. I legitimately think so much stuff that's happening now is like fallout from that. I think we are in a kind of Fallout series by Todd Howard, thanks to stuff that was happening in those years. You know? The idea people are nostalgic for those times. When I'm like, we are in recovery. We're getting better, please. I can't go back. I don't know. You might hear me say that and be like, things are pretty bad right now. But you know what? Yeah, things can be rough, but I, at the end of the day, think we're just making progress and moving forward. There's gonna be bad things, but that happens, you know. Honestly, I feel like, to a degree, people thinking things are so bad is, in a way, a kind of progress itself, right? Hear me out here. No, listen, wait. Don't click on. I know you're like, this is the worst conversation I've had in my entire life. I'm leaving Cahill. I almost call myself by my first name. And that's not a secret, but I know that most people online think of me by my last name. Anyway, they're like, Cahill, this is the worst conversation I've had in like a week. I need you to stop. No, listen to me. Hear me out. Do you think a medieval peasant thought life was... Do you think your average medieval peasant thought life was bad? You know? Do you think for hundreds of years, medieval peasants were largely dissatisfied, like, kind of ideated on how bad their lives were? I'd say probably not. You know what I mean? I think... Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of medieval peasants, for lifetimes... there was 100 Years' War. That's like the kind of stuff you read in Berserk. That was real, and no one talks about it, because it wasn't necessarily dramatic. Things just sucked back then. You know what I'm saying? And everyone knew they sucked back then. They just didn't care because they were focused on trying to live. Today, people are like, things are bad, and they want them to change, and that's so much better than things are bad, I'm just gonna try and make it to bed tonight. Yeah, yeah. I would argue people yelling things are bad is in its own way infinitely better than just being like, I'm okay with things being bad. If you're able to be like, things are bad and it makes me upset, hold on to that. That isn't one of the bad things. You got emotion, you're alive, and things are gonna get better, so. Now listen. We might move to Mars. I know. I know that in and of itself, not the best news. But I would argue new planet that we're not as worried about might also be improved. I know that might be. Listen, it might be bad that we move to Mars, but fresh start. I'll say this: if we have to move to Mars, then like, you know, we'll probably be doing better than the first people on Earth. Think about that. I either here's what you're looking at. Either you are one of the people who moves to Mars, at which point you're doing much better than your predecessors who started out on Earth. No, Juice, don't bring me down right now. Or you don't have to worry about moving to Mars in your lifetime. At which point, who cares? So, either way. But Juice, you may give me one bad news about Mars now, please, if you'd like to, if you would like to. I just wanted to finish my thought about Mars. If the bad news is we're not going to be doing that for a while, then I'm okay with that. That was one of the options I did check off. Either would have access. I'm not gonna speculate on that. I get what you're saying, Juice, but also I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be like, yeah, but it would happen this way, in the worst way. You know what I mean? You are valid, Juice, but also I'm gonna have a little optimism about it. Also, I am putting it as we have to move planets, so I would imagine there'd be a program, but who knows? Who knows and who cares? But would y'all like to hear about unequivocally good news? I wanna do a little bit of a fact check right now, and I will get back to you. I'm looking at it. Let me see. 13. Blah blah blah. Yes. 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 Okay. So, here is good news. I saw. I'm not gonna say the channel name because I don't want to get into that. But a long time ago, I saw a video about the idea of mining asteroids. There's only so much Earth, but there's more of it in space. And if we got the Earth from space to come to us, we would have more of it to use in things we make, right? And they broke down how we could theoretically, going into the future, get that space Earth down here so we can use it. And I was like, neat idea, but I don't think anyone's actually gonna bother trying it. NASA's doing it right now. Like, in this fall, they launched a mission to snatch a rock out the sky, bring it back to Earth with its materials, and said materials are worth so much money that I can't say how much money it's worth. One and many zeros. Because at the end of the day, you know. So, and I mean, here's the other thing. You might be like, well, then that doesn't matter to me. But when you bring a lot of expensive stuff together, it becomes even a little less expensive because there's a lot of it. So no one cares to pay that much for it anymore. Why do I need any platinum? Why would I pay so much for platinum? NASA just brought the platinum rock back to Earth, and it's littering the streets. If I want platinum for something, I'll go pick it up from the gutter drain. Good day, sir. So, who knows if that'll be the new norm, but that's very cool. Heck! Heck! I mean, I said this before, and it's not news anymore, but they also did the thing. Even if NASA's not going to the moon currently right now, India is. They did do that thing not too long ago where they blew up where they crashed into an asteroid on purpose because they were testing a system to do so. They're like, "Hey, we want to be able to blow up asteroids on purpose, so that way we don't have to worry about those." And we like, you know, I know there's there's that funny sentiment of born in wrong generation, but no matter what generation you go back to, they were less capable of ending the asteroid apocalypse. So maybe it's okay to be around now. If you had to put me into an alternate reality where, you know, where I could go to any moment in times past, but there was like a 90% chance a cataclysmic asteroid would collide with Earth, I'd probably pick today. I'd probably be like, bring me to yesterday. Because I'm not confident in, I don't know, the 70s ability to, you know, redirect the asteroids. I'd love to be a real pirate. I would not like to be a real pirate if an asteroid is coming. You know? Probably not going to go as well for me. If I'm if I'm a submarine pirate in submarine, able to be deep in the ocean when impact happens, you know, survive away from fiery surface for a while, maybe, but submarine pirates, I don't even think have been invented yet, so that's not a time period thing. That's a, oh shit, that is a, I made that up on the spot thing. So I didn't make that up on the spot. I think about the Nautilus and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea a lot, into how in most doomsday situations I would like to have my own Nautilus. I would, yeah, if the apocalypse is happening, I would love a ship that can survive in the ocean indefinitely. Away from, purposely made so that you would not need civilization to be around to operate or live in it. That would be a fantastic thing to have. Thank you. How much plan? How many? Okay. Let's say I have a big submarine, right? The Nautilus is big. So, big submarine. How many plants do I need in submarine for me to breathe forever? I know there's like several problems with this line of thinking, if I'm not mistaken. But big submarine, little people, how much plant to live forever? Can I plant a tasteful fern in the foyer for air, or are we talking like plants every 5 feet down the hallway? Let's say I have my submarine, and it does have a good oxygen system, right? How many plants would I need in the submarine to improve the oxygen system? You know what I'm saying? How many plant in submarine does Cahill need for better air? Am I the dumbest man to walk the planet? Maybe. But I'd still like. Listen, I can get why no plant in space. We can all agree plant in space was never gonna work. But how many plant in submarine could work? So if it can't, please tell me why. Ain't nothing but a bad thing. Tell me why ain't nothing but a bad thing. Tell me why ain't nothing but a thing. And tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way. I wanted to double check. I did not hear my dear friend Juice in VC, but I was saying some real dumb stuff for a while there. And the chances of Juice popping up in any call I sit in raises exponentially the more I publicly say dumb things. So I just wanted to double check that I wasn't missing them. Juice, are you not in VC because you're Googling how submarine air works? You're like, this isn't my specialty, but I'm about to do it just to teach him a lesson. Just to smack this moron around. You don't have to be doing either. No, that sounded disingenuous if I'm being honest. Here's the thing, Juice. I do know you are a chemist. I do know as scientist, your personal field is chemistry, is reaction between atoms and mixtures. So I honestly I wouldn't be surprised if you're like, Cahill, you're stupid, and I already know why. Cahill, I know so much about oxygen that it would make you dizzy from the lack of oxygen you know about, actually for real. Juice talks like that. Juice might be him from the East Coast, and is in all ways removed from like Hollywood culture, but Juice does actually talk like someone from Beverly Hills, is the weird thing that I've noticed. Everything about Juice sounds like Ashley Tisdale from High School Musical. And no one talks about it. Okay, what the fuck? Juice might be an undercover CIA agent disguising themselves as a non-binary college student, but on call they sound 100% like Ashley Tisdale from the early 2000s, which is wild. I've heard Juice sing Fabulous to such a perfect degree that thought someone had put on the CD from the movie. Also, hi, Oki. I once heard Juice reenact a scene from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody with such perfect intonation that Disney came to copy strike them in a private call. Everything I am saying is true, and any perjury is punishable in a court of law. So that's how you know I'm saying real things right now. Because a court of law would probably uphold my streaming conversations. You know, like they do. Man, that made me think about there's one or two pieces of like twice of nature. There's one or two pieces of like quote unquote drama going around. And like Lord in Heaven. It is not only is it the kind of drama I don't care about, I like don't care about it as a point. Because it's just like people's personal lives and bad things happening on a personal level. And I'm like, if I invest myself in it, then it will just feed into kind of like, you know, I'm not saying it's going to perpetuate the situation, but at the very least it would exacerbate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to make this news or content. I want it to be dealt with between the people and them not have to worry about it being aired out like dirty laundry on Saturday Night Live. Lord in Heaven. You know, if I'd ever do something so bad or drama alert worthy that there's no none of this is about you, Oak. So if you're in drama, then I'm fully ignorant of it. This is like A-list celebrities, both in Hollywood and on the internet stuff I'm talking about. And you could be that, Oak, but I don't know that you are. So, again, I'm unaware of any involving you. Oak, if you're an A-list internet celebrity, I don't know about it, so don't go talking to me if you've got drama going on in that scene. But regardless, yeah, I'm just like, y'all don't need to be worrying about this on being on Saturday Night Live. And if I do anything bad enough or drama worthy enough that it could end up on Saturday Night Live, I want everyone to hand me a flintlock pistol and look away, because that'll be the end for Kay. If Saturday... Oh. Okay. I thought I heard someone. Anyway. Like, if Saturday Night Live is still going at the point where I'm a public figure that whose drama is newsworthy, then it's almost certainly still not good. And I don't want my drama being used as comedic material on it. So yeah, that would be the end of me. And the note would read Saturday Night Live. I don't know if that would be enough to get them taken off the air finally, but sweet fuck. You know, I don't know if I've said that on stream, but I don't always agree with Mrs. Penny Snapcube's opinion on different entertainment franchises. But recently she mentioned about how, like, usually she's pretty vocal about wanting things to have a proper finale and end, like not really worrying about it going on forever and if it's good anymore. But you mentioned that like Fiona and Cake, the new Adventure Time series, was good enough that she was like, Adventure Time could just keep going forever, and I think I might be okay with it. And that's pretty high praise. I do. Here's the thing. I am not like deep into Adventure Time. I watched it very early on, and then was not as into it. Like, just not actively watching it as much later on. More so because I had just lost all interest in cable television, and less so because Adventure Time wasn't good. Anyway, with that in mind, uh, as a universe, as like some kind of fictional world to be explored, it is Adventure Time. There is adventures to be had, so there's plenty of things in Adventure Time, subjects that'd be like, yeah, make as much of a show out of it as possible. Fucking Adventure Time was the Fiona and Cake series was as much an excuse uh, for the Adventure Time creators to talk about their own Lovecraftian theology that they had made up in creating the show, as much as it was just also about Fiona and Cake. It was equal parts both. And about it was like it was three-pronged. From what I've seen of it, Fiona and Cake was equal parts. We are, in fact, actually finally making a Fiona and Cake series. It's also about Simon, and also, oops, we made a Lovecraftian pantheon in the creation of that other show. So we're just gonna throw enough of it in here. Because too much of it is only in the show notes. If there's one thing I could ask the Adventure Time directors, it would be that if you've seen any of the kind of later stuff from the show, you know that every now and then we get a glimpse 1,000 years into, I don't want to say 10,000. 10,000 years is a long time. And I do believe they have actually only made it 1,000 years. But it's 1,000 years in the future. And it's not necessarily bad. I wouldn't say another apocalypse has happened, not on like the scale that we know has already happened on the show before. But clearly things have changed. Like entire civilizations are different or just not there / now present, one or the other. And with that in mind, I'm like, my biggest question is, hey, why is everything like desaturated? You know? Adventure Time is kind of all about things changing and the ever-shifting nature of the world and life. And I'm okay with that. I can accept that, you know, however long into this fictional world's future, things that were once very familiar are no longer there. What I do have a problem with is the color palette changing to be seemingly more depressing. I would like it to still kind of be like this happy-go-lucky romp of a land to be able to explore whenever I visit it, if that's okay with them. So I'm like, hey, why does everything look sadder now? And it is important to note, when we get these glimpses into the future, depressing was the goal. No. Well, Juice, that was what I was about to say. Is that when we get these looks into the future, it's not like everyone in the future is sadder. For all intents and purposes, the same shenanigans are happening. The palette is just different. So, that's why I must ask. But I don't want to go any further in case people are like, spoilers. So, I don't want to get into like deep detail of like why this example versus this example, yada yada yada. I will say, very, very, very Slight thing. The Ice Kingdom in Adventure Time, very much the same. If you were to be like, Cahill, I want you to reimagine the future of Adventure Time, I would leave what they have done to the Ice Kingdom exactly the same. I think they did a great job with it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is both exactly the same as it was, while also being dis- distinguishably different from what had happened before. So, bravo, bravo, good work. Now on to the other stuff. Honestly, again, I might just be like, make the palette brighter, cartoony fun, because it's ironic. Some of the main characters we see in the future seem to almost be emphasizing childlike fun even more so than Finn and Jake do. So why the world matches it less is beyond me. Is it as you said just to be depressing? Cuz while in practice the world is as you know, amazeballs as ever, it just looks different. It just looks sadder. Or is there a deeper reason? I don't know. They could just be like, because we just wanted the future to look different. Or like they literally look at me like Juice and are like depression. I'm like, okay. Who am I? Adventure Time showrunners, who am I to argue with your depressive episode? You've served up plenty of depression as spin-offs, and it's been working pretty well. I love depression in shows. Juice, I have horrible news about Walt. Well, that's Willie. About Walt and Willie. It's not gonna get depressing. For anyone who doesn't keep up with One Piece, Echiro Oda has stated that this is. I'm not even talking about One Piece. I'm talking about the author more than anything. Has talked about how he's noticed that mangas will typically get darker the further in they get, and that Juice. I'm not sure I like that. Anyway, and he's like, I don't want that for One Piece, and he's extremely based for that. Honestly, it's so weird how much I talk about Lord of the Rings next to One Piece, but this isn't even necessarily as a direct comparison, as much as it is like the approach the movies kind of took, where it's like everything progressively gets darker ad infinitum, and then at the very end you are shotgun blasted with the Shire again. You know, where the movies just got progressively more sad, except the ending brings you back down to zero in the happiest, most uplifting way possible. Kinda minus Frodo going to live with the elves. But for everyone else, for all other intents and purposes, you know, reset to zero in a lot of ways. But that is also kind of the point, you know. The hobbits have a very good life, and the whole quest to destroy the ring wasn't necessarily uh, to improve that life. It was rather to protect it, and I think the movie kind of illustrates that. Ooh. Sorry, I was texting someone real quick. But anyway, Alex, I think, is very different. I don't want Alex to be depressing, but there are certain emotions that, like, Walt and Willie are more about trying to spread joy and always looking for adventure, which is as much a part of me as my frustration in kind of socializing, which we've talked plenty about this stream, you know? Like those are both equal parts of me. So, while Alex might not necessarily go down the most depressing route, I can't deny that the emotions I attempt to convey through him are more negative just by default, just by process of elimination than with these guys. But I'm also just trying to make JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with Alex. So, I'm also just trying to be like, hey, I like JoJo. I should try something kind of like that a little bit. JoJo's can be pretty depressing. The main story arc in JoJo mapped out, that might make you cry. You might cry at JoJo. Results may vary. It's so wild because you get to see so much of the second and third Joestar's / JoJo's life, which is, of course, Jotaro and Joseph. And it's wild how they both kind of highlight, like, sad parts in life as much as good parts in life. I'd argue Joseph's ironically ends up leaving on a happier note than Jotaro's does, which is wild to think about. Because by the last time we see Joseph, he is largely a, for lack of a better phrase, decrepit old man, bereft of the abilities he used to kind of fight evil. Other parts of the series. And that kind of opens that chapter of his life on a sort of sour note, but I'd argue by the time we close that chapter on his life, chapter of his life, blah, he is actually, if anything, in a better place. So, but I also say that fully knowing that he is my favorite JoJo, so. Very minor JoJo spoilers, but I mean, I almost feel like Joseph is my favorite JoJo, not just out of entertainment value, but also because Jonathan was never able to really, like, go on and kind of, I don't want to say spread the good word, but like he wasn't able to pass much down in terms of, like, lessons and wisdom or like, the kind of stuff you earn in a story as opposed to material things to his not ancestors, descendants. But Joseph does. He actively does through multiple parts of the series, which kind of makes me happy whenever I end up seeing him. That's great. Honestly, I think that's why there's so many reasons I vouch for the first part of JoJo. And as much as it is to get this kind of, like, foundational understanding of the series that ends up becoming key to the drama that plays out later in what is arguably, like, one of the most popular parts of this long-running manga, Uh, it's also to kind of get an appreciation about how much Araki grows in like how much the series. If you don't even care about the individual author, like how much the series grows in writing. The way Araki kind of goes from writing these super heroic, almost more mythical than human characters to writing interpersonal relationships that end up defining and being the heart of his later works. I'd argue that's kind of the bigger influence the series has on anything I do in the future. Like, I'm never gonna be writing in the style of Phantom Blood, but I think about how Araki presented certain things in part 4 and 5 all the time. Because I think it's important. Relationships between gang members and youths enjoying their time in their hometown. And how those relationships either do or do not affect some kind of grander plot as a whole. It's cool. Because I feel like they either directly play into or enrich the plot of the series. Either because JoJo's like, it's not necessarily just shonen where someone's powering up. It's like a battle. It's about battling in strategy and everything. Maybe not necessarily going stronger, but more figuring out problems. And with that in mind, getting you invested in the characters is a good way to be like, hey, care about the situation they're in. So, regardless of if it plays into the bigger plot, kind of helps out in carrying you from the moment to moment. Anyway, how about we raid someone? We talked about a lot tonight, and we got... This is just... I realize it might not seem so impressive. It might seem like I have made added details that could have been done in 5... Oh, I burped. Could have been done in 5 seconds if I had just drawn them as opposed to doing like this inch by inch stuff I've been doing. But consider the fact that what was the thing, consider the fact that I'm trying to make it like creep across the screen almost. So I kind of have to draw it inch by inch. That... You know what? Barry's actually probably going to be wrapping up soon. How about we just raid Max? I was looking at the different people I had available to raid, and I was like, out of all of them, I think Max genuinely stands out the most. Wait, hello? Okay. That was stream. I was afraid someone was in call as I was ending my stream. Anyway, I appreciate everyone for coming down on by. I'll see y'all next week. I would argue kind of standard fare next week, but maybe some surprises. Updates on things. Updates on things, maybe a new thing or two. As I continue streaming. I appreciate your support. And I'll see y'all then. Thanks so much for stopping by. Genuinely, it means a lot when you stop by my art stream, so go give Max that kind of love. Bye.